Hey traders, Sunday 11/5 running through about 100 tickers, but first let's take a look at the overall market. First, I will have a separate video just for the markets this evening, Sunday night, so make sure you watch it before the morning, and it's usually about 7 minutes, and it's the strategy for the week. The short story is we hit the target what we were watching, SPY 410 plus or minus $2. We did that. We're looking at the SPX for a fresh look, and I put some lines to tell you what's going on. So the lines are, look at the bubbles in pink. This was a big support, big failure, failed again. We're back into the failure. So just from that perspective, this shouldn't be easy to go through. Okay, the way last week transpired was extremely bullish. We rallied 6% from the bottom, and we bounced off of the NVIDIA breakout from 2 earnings ago. So we had a failure in February. We broke out of it because of NVIDIA a couple quarters ago. We just tested it. The actual target was here, but we stopped inside the middle of that range. So from here, I would anticipate a dip, small dip, to curl back and attempt at a breakout to go back to the September highs. That would be doable. Now, the worst case scenario is something happens and scares people out of the market to retest and fail from the 408, 410 area. If we do that, then we're talking way, way lower. Like if you remember the scenario of SPY 388. So before we look down there, we're looking up to see what it takes to break out of whatever the areas that we just failed from 3 weeks ago. All right, having said that, let's go into the individual stocks, and these are alphabetically ordered. Okay, and these are stocks that you guys asked for. Agilent, it's coming back into a prior fail, kind of like the stock market. I would not take longs here. In fact, if I had longs, this would be my exit, because it might dip back to 105. So it's easier to get to 105 than it is to 115. Let's put it that way. Apple, very wild reaction on a earnings report. Huge candle. So if you can put a box around that candle, Apple is going to be stuck in it for a long time. I don't think it's easy to get out of 182. I don't think it's easy to lose the support they just tested. So they hit targets, and now they're stuck in the middle of a zone. You have a seller up at the 182 area, an extremely strong buyer in the 160s, 167, and even buyers that are pretty strong in the 170 area. So stuck. From an investment perspective, there's nothing to do short term. You can see that, how it happened. People say, oh, it's falling out of control. Well, it wasn't. It fell to 2 days prior to the earnings report. So it's a no story there. Don't know what that is. Astral. Let's zoom out. Okay. I have no idea what this is. Has no income. Chart is not going to help you much. You should review the company and see what they do, and to see how likely they are to succeed. Okay, we're moving on. ABBV, it hit the underbelly of where it fell. Kind of like the same story across all these tickers. They fell off a cliff, and now they're back to the edge of that cliff. So the easy bounce from the low is done, and now the battle is between 140, this area, to 145. So they're going to ping pong inside that area. Hopefully they'll bounce off of 140 to get back into the resistance box. And more sellers higher, like up at this level, 148, 149. Does that have earnings? No earnings. Okay, Adobe, definitely not an obvious entry point, but oh boy, if they take that out, it'll be a nice launch pad. So good bounce on Adobe. the bears are in trouble. If the bulls are able to get to 576, for example, I think they can get into the 600s, because then they would have nothing here to stop them. So be careful if you're short. If you're looking to get long, it's not ideal to go long into a breakout zone. Buy the dip to see if it curls back up and take that. So what you want to try to do is buy any dip to see if it does that, and then it breaks out. And if it breaks out without you, don't buy here, buy on this dip to see if you can ride it back out. So I either buy on this zone here or here. Buying here and getting long here and waiting and hoping, it's not my thing. AEHR, that made for a good investment. I think we mentioned it a couple times. Hit targets and then some. Tiny company, so you can't go all in with confidence. The market can whipsaw it anywhere it wants to. There's no recent support, so rallies now are looking to be sold, and take your pick. So first milestone is 26.5 could bring 30 if they take 26.5 out. For me, I think this is more an investment than a trade. So if you like the company and you bought the dip here, you did right. Just sit on them and see what happens. What is this? Investment Corp. I thought it was Agnico Eagle. Okay, so whatever happened at 8.6, now they're back into it. It's not likely to be easy to cut through it. And if they do, repeat all the same comments around 9.6. Anything up here is, I think, a lot of selling. Not a lot of conviction inside this big zone. So best guess is it dips back to 7.8. And let's see if the bulls can hold so they can come back up to here. Technically speaking, they're selling rallies. You see that? So respect it until that changes. How do I know it changed? When they take out a prior fail and make a higher high, a significant higher high. Right now, they're making lower lows and lower highs. So respect the sellers until they prove to you that they're done. C3. Every spike in this one is an opportunity to exit. Look at how accurate it was, our forecast. Okay, nobody mentioned distorted audio. I guess we'll live with it. You guys made me raise the volume on Friday, so maybe that's what it is. Okay, so this one fell apart from these levels. It's not an obvious entry point here. I want to warn you that it's not shortable because it has a headline of a takeout. Thanks, Chris. A dip into 26 would make more sense, or 27, than getting into it here. If I'm long from this area, I'm booking if I was an investor, a trader. So far so good with the charts, but this stock is not for me as an investment. Look at this P&L. I can find better ones. Palantir, to mention one. But it was a good rally into a prior fail. 30 is an exit for me. This was, we mentioned it was an opportunity for those who liked it because it's on paper, it's a good company, good P&L, and it fell apart. Now the rally back is going to be difficult. There are sellers into 140. There might be a path to 149, but they're going to have to run through a lot of resistance. If they can take out 141, 142, they can gain $5 to $8 quickly. But they have to cut through some overhead resistance right around this area. So the climb into this area is going to be difficult, but if they can clear it, it gets easier. This as an investment makes sense if you believe in the company. But it's also in the hands of the seller, lower high, lower low. AMD, too big a rally, to be honest. 105 should have given them a little bit more trouble, but I'm not going to short it. Okay, it's too big. Now, having, if you're buying calls here, that's not my thing. Okay, the right thing to do is to wait for a dip and see what happens with the dip around 105, 104, even 103. They're trying to break out. And if this holds, the upside potential is up here. But buying calls now, let me make a comment I should have made in the beginning. Everybody now feels better, even though absolutely nothing different happened this week from the week before that, when everybody was scared about everything. Zero new things. If you think something changed, 100% you're wrong. It's not an insult. It's fact. Look at all the data, company reports, headlines, unemployment, whatever. Nothing changed. Zero. The war's still going on everywhere. Nothing changed. So this is chasing because you feel better about things. Not a good idea. But it is a breakout if they can confirm it, and the target is like 124. If I wanted this ticker, I would buy the dip, or I would engage with the market rather than AMD specifically. Plus, NVIDIA is going to be reporting soon, I believe. All right, Amazon. It's almost at our target from this breakout. Resistance, potential trigger, and it's halfway through. To be honest, I would wait for a dip before I get engaged long. If, again, I'm buying calls now, or I don't want to book so not to miss out on some upside, I'm not trading, I'm investing. And if I am trading with this attitude, I'm not a very good trader. The easy work has been done. Folks, the market's rallied 6% in 1 week. 6% in 1 week. Okay. So look at this. What? Are you kidding me? Look at this. Wow. This yellow thing was our estimate. I mean, it's like we painted it on backwards. And we didn't. I'll tell you why. Because this yellow thing came from here. Tell me the markets are not rigged. What? Holy moly, I should do a video just on that one. Amazing. I mean, what? Okay, so what happened after that? A small dip and then a consolidation. So a small dip and then consolidation. That's what I'm going to say is going to happen. So let's copy what happened after that one. Something like this. We'll see. All right. Arista is a good company. They deliver. Look at that P&L. Wow, it's picture perfect. So there's nothing to sell here. ARM Research. So I told you I'm investing in ARM, and I took one position out of 4, and I haven't added. I wanted to add in the middle of the 46s. I should have, because it went there. But given that it's a new company and I'm not very familiar with it, I chickened out, and that's fine. But I'm still long one batch. I'm about reddish. My entry price is somewhere around 55, if I remember correctly. I knew it wasn't the perfect entry, but I know I'm in it for the long term. Same, investable. Technically, short term, if they can hold 51, they can get to 57. Otherwise, I would buy the dip if I wanted to get engaged long, if I'm not long already. There's nothing to do from an investment perspective if I'm already long. ASML, the easy work is done. Notice how we had right there a neckline they needed to hold, and if they didn't, this would be the target. Guess where they went? Straight to the target. Well, now they're back into the neckline. So there's nothing to do right here. This is not an obvious entry point. Retesting the failure area equals not an obvious point of entry. It doesn't mean you short it. It just means buy the dip. If you believe in it and it's going to go higher, I would be patient and buy this dip and see if they want to do that. And then take that out. Trading versus investing. So you decide. American Express, definitely not an entry point. If you look at it, it's in a descending channel. That one also popped up as go long, but I chickened out of banks. Actually, I went something else. Goldman Sachs. So rally sold, rally sold, rally sold, rally. Will they sell it? I don't know. If they take out 156.7, that peak, they could get to 162 and then repeat the same problem. So the easy rally is done. Buy the dip to curl back up and see what they do with this failing zone. Okay, let's look at Burger King. Booking. Pretty wild candle from the earnings. So I'm just going to go here. Earnings candle. Okay, I can't type this morning. I'm going to blame it on they're robbing me of sleep. Today we changed the time in California. So they're looking to break out. If they can take out the spike from last week, they can get into the 3,000s, which would not be a selling zone. There's not a buying zone. There's not a lot of volume here. The way they fell apart was fast, so it'll be easy for them to cut through if they can trigger that high. Look left, there's not a lot of volume. So I can see them coming to 3,100, for example, or 3,050, this zone, and then suffer, like I'll hit a wall of resistance. So be careful where you get in. It's a very thin stock. It's manipulated. BMY still headed down. This was my forecast, and lower lows, lower highs. I don't know what they said on earnings. There's no recent support. I would leave it. You have this area that should have held, and they cut through it like butter, 53, 54. And now it's above them. So unless they get back to 56 right away, it's ominous. Lower lows, lower highs continues, I think. So be careful. So they might have rallies like this, and then what? Okay, so be careful. This might be a forecast. These didn't come to fruition. Blackstone, so it hit the target that we thought it would hit, and then some. They didn't even hold this, but now they're back above it. Okay, so so now we have an area of contention, and it's like right here. So they're stuck in this range. So do what you need to do inside this range. Maybe a little bit higher. You're saying, what kind of input is that? I'm just letting you know where it's stuck. I don't think it comes back up to here. This rally was based on something else. It got included in some index, maybe the Dow. I haven't traded this one in a while. Last time it was some sort of an iron condor and it worked. Okay, CCJ. Not an obvious point of entry, that's for sure. Buy the dip, that's what's going on. They buy dips. So where to? There is a support at 41, give or take, and support at 39.50 and 38.50. So take your pick. How fast are you is the line you choose. 41.5 to 41 to 40.5 is zone 1. Like anything inside this area right there. Support 1. Support 1. Oopsies. CHWY finally catching a green. My position is finally green. So if you're upset about it, close it. I sold puts at 17.50. They went into money. I wasn't assigned, and now it's out of the money. by a mile. So use that to get out of trouble. Now, the one thing why I didn't fold is because the fundamentals were still fantastic. Well, how about not nearly as bad as people made them out to be? The write-ups were ridiculous. Like, people are struggling that they can't feed their dogs. I was like, where the F are you getting that idea? People are struggling. Yesterday, I went to drive. I don't drive much. And it was like Christmas. Everybody was out, lines everywhere. Whenever you fly, the airports are packed, the hotels are booked. Where are people not feeding their dogs and cats? Anyway, that thesis was wrong. And this stock is doing much better than people said it was. There was no fundamental reason to sell it. So I did not back out of my sold puts. I wouldn't buy calls here. I actually do own calls, but it's off the bottom, not up here. I may have closed them also. I don't remember. Anyway, use strength to get out of trouble. Because if it was struggling for such a long time, to such an extent, any strength is going to face some selling into 22 plus or minus $1. It's a wide zone because look how fast it fell, and it felt like it was going out of business. This was not normal. I tell you what that was. That was somebody famous on Wall Street that wants to buy the stock cheap, or somebody that was looking to buy stock back, or somebody that was looking to buy the company altogether and then change their mind. This does not happen from people selling the stock. It's somebody targeting it to make it cheaper for ulterior motives. That's my impression. I can't prove any of that. Anyway, good company, not a good place to start longs. Pharmaceutical companies, I'm not very good at because I don't follow their fundamentals. You should. Technically speaking, 1380 was a hard sell a couple of times, 3 times. 1 over here, 2, 3, and coming into it would not make a good starting point. But if you're long off of this base and looking to charge and break through, good for you. Put some stops in case it curls back down. Pharmaceuticals have a way of like exploding higher or going to 0 or 2 pennies based on FDA stuff. So make sure you know what's going on. Crane Company. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say. That would be a NOPE acronym, not an obvious point of entry. I nothing from the chart. And I don't know what is going on. The sales are falling. What's all the excitement about? Make sure you know what you're chasing. Aerospace, electronics. Okay. So how about you show me some progress on the P&L versus what? Makes no sense. Study the company. The chart is not telling you anything. CRM, good company with good fundamentals. Very pivotal zone coming up, 212, give or take $2. So look at that, whatever that is. What the heck is that? That green thing here. Anyway, so this has been pivotal for a while. If you look left, they're coming into the highest point of volume by a long shot. So this area, 210, 212, 208, maybe even 213, has been heavily contested. This is where bulls and bears love it. Okay, bulls and bears love it. Oh, good point. Somebody's asking me, what if they open up a short sale ban here in the U.S.? Why would they do that? They did it in 08 because markets were falling out of control. But why would they do that now? We are inching towards an all-time high. I just don't see how that happens here. South Korea just did it. Okay, I don't know why they would do that. They might as well not have a risk. What, they want to market without risk? It's ridiculous that they do that. Anyway, it's too theoretical. I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah, if you ban shorts, then the shorts will not be here. Then it'll be up, 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 and away. But they're trying to control inflation, not make us more inflated. I don't understand the what if, theoretically. I don't know. It's too theoretical for me to know any of that. Okay, higher lows and higher highs. Bulls are in charge. You break out of 193. You go to 216 with a lot of resistance in the middle. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what's been happening. They dip, they make a higher high. So don't short the dip. Maybe that's what they're looking for right now. Small dip, got long for this opportunity. You have 24 days before the next earnings. And they hit our target and then some. CrowdStrike, every dip has been viable for us. So nothing new, I'm telling you. Carvana, I don't know what they said. Looks like their bottom line, the net income got a little better. That's good. Maybe they're getting their act together. I would exit because that's what's happening. They spike and then they fade. So if you're looking to get long now, not sure why, but buy the dip into a solid support zone rather than chase a rally that hasn't worked in the past. But I have to tell you that, this rally worked very well for a while. This one may or may not. This one did not. This one did not. This did not. So we'll see. I know there should be sellers into 38, 39. Yeah, broke boy, that's theoretical. It's just too theoretical, and I don't think I would be giving you information that's pretty smart. My comment is I would be flabbergasted if we did that here. So what's the point? There's no way they would do it. So rally, sell, rally, sell, rally, sell, rally. Going into a very highly contested area, there should be a lot of sellers at 34, give or take 50 cents or even $1. So for me, I would not chase it. Earnings in a couple of months. So you might have a headline-free stint, but I don't know. Labor issues, all kinds of issues. Let me put it this way. If the airlines are rallying, the stock market is too. Why would I want to take on all the junk that the airline stocks have with them? But if I'm long Delta and this gets me back to even, I would exit. Danaher is going into a resistance area. They fell apart from 207, give or take. They're going back into 207. It's not going to be easy to cut through 207. So if you want a candle, that zone is tough. Short-term comment. Okay. So investment-wise, you might have more upside. If you bought the dip, there's no need to get out. If you're an investor, you can crawl back into 220 if the markets are conducive. So I understand holding longs. Okay, but I don't know why you would have that theoretical question out of nowhere. You must know something I don't. Right? Kudos. Doing homework. DraftKings, definitely not a place to get long. Wow, nobody mentioned it in the live room. Maybe you did. I don't remember talking about it. Anyway, that is an incredible rally. 16%. I've never in my entire life ever, nor will I ever, go long a stock that just spikes 16%. Period. End of story. You want it, you can take it. This where they failed before, take that out, you will get up to here. Not my jam. But if you're long and you want to risk it and you're leaving runners, that's fine. If now you're buying calls on Monday morning, good luck. Not for me. Buy the dip. I don't understand the mentality that if now you feel better about everything, I'm literally telling you, you're doing what makes the market makers money. They bank on that feeling inside of you that says, let's buy calls. That's how market makers, that's why the casino exists. That's why there's investing, because we, retail, feel the need to chase at the wrong time. If this is where I'm getting in because I feel better last week, I am the person they're making money off of. I am the reason why the casino exists, and that's not me. I can't say it more plainly. But if you do take this one out, this fail from August, you will end up at 46. See how much I'm missing, Nick? Yeah, I will miss it 100 times out of 100. So not to get long here and then take a 20% bath. All right, so this is the first video, and we'll stop.